Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Sorrentino, and today we're going to read a new story. The story is How to Catch a Monster by Michael Yu. Monster, monster, 1, 2, 3. Today I want you to think. Pause and look at the cover. Is this a fiction or a nonfiction book? Fiction, exactly, because it's not real. I also want you to think who could be the main characters of this book. Oh, the little boy? You got it. Here we go. What do you think he's going to try to do in this story? Catch a monster? Let's read and find out. How to Catch a Monster. Bedtime was never fun for Eric. He hated washing up, he hated brushing his teeth, and he hated putting on his pajamas. Who else feels like that? Miss Sorrentino doesn't. I love bedtime. Eric would rather play games than get ready for bed. That's when Eric's mom decided to tell him about the monster. What monster, Mommy? Eric asked, excitedly jumping up and down. Woohoo! So how's he feeling right now? He's excited. He loved dinosaurs and dragons and animals of every kind. I'm talking about the monster that'll come and play with you, replied Mom. I'll tell you all about it and what to do after you're washed up and ready for bed. Now that Mom's being tricky. She's telling him all about a monster that'll come and play with him. So is this monster good or is this monster bad? You're right, it's a good monster. It's a friendly monster. So for the very first time in all of Eric's 4 long years of life, so how old is he? 4. He willingly took his bath, brushed his teeth, and put on his pajamas. Willingly means he did it, and he did not care. He was happy to do it. Eric proudly smiled, everybody proudly smiled, and declared, I'm ready. Wow, that was super, honey, Mom cheerfully beamed back. Now I'll tell you what to do. First, we'll head to the kitchen. But I don't want a snack. I want to hear about the monster, Eric protested. Mom grabbed Eric's hand and told him, you may not want a snack, but I know someone else who would love a snack. Eric looked up into Mom's face and grinned and winked at him. So every smile, that's a grin and a wink. Oh, the monster, Eric exclaimed. Eric and Mom filled a plate with chocolate chip cookies and returned to his bedroom and placed them next to the bed. Then Mom said, now you need to get under your covers and say, monster, monster, 1, 2, 3, won't you come out and play with me? This monster will do anything for food, especially cookies. So what do you think Eric's going to do next? Stop and predict. I think he's going to listen to Mom too. I got it, said Eric. He leapt into his bed, pulled the covers over himself, and then he repeated what his mom told him to say after she left. Monster, monster, 1, 2, 3, won't you come out and play with me? And I have cookies for you. Who thinks a monster is going to come out next? What do we think the monster will look like? Eric heard someone stomping around his room. Was it the monster? Yummy cookies, someone cried. Eric took a peek from under his covers and saw the monster. Oh, Eric said, it worked. Are you here to play with me? Grrr, said the monster. What do you want to play? Let's play horsey. Give me a ride around the room, please, Mr. Monster. The monster came up next to the bed and got down on his 4 paws. Eric climbed on top of him, grabbing onto a handful of fur. Hang on now, the monster growled at him. They galloped around the room many times, with Eric giggling, bouncing up and down. How is Eric feeling here? Finally, the monster came to a halt and placed Eric back onto his bed. Good night now, little boy, and thank you for the cookies, said the monster. What do we think about the monster? I think he's a good friend. He's tucking in Eric, and he played horsey with him, galloping. Galloping is like leaping short leaps like a horse. Thank you for playing with me, said Eric. Will you come back tomorrow? I'll put out some more treats for you. The monster didn't say anything, but walked towards the door, stopped before leaving, and smiled at Eric. Do you think the monster enjoyed playing with Eric? I do too. You know the clue that told me? And smiled at Eric. The next night, Eric zoomed into the bathroom. He washed up and brushed his teeth and then hurried to put on his pajamas. Why is he hurrying so much? He hated bed before. Oh, now he wants to play with the monster. You are correct. Afterwards, he rushed off to the kitchen. And he said to his mom, "Look, Mommy, I'm all done. Now can I please have some cookies to give to the monster?" His mom studied him closely. "Did you brush your teeth?" she asked. "Yes, my breath is nice and minty," Eric said. "All right, then you can have some cookies for the monster," his mom said. They carried the cookies to the room, and Eric scurried under his covers. It's like a quick run. Eric's mom left the room. "Monster, monster, 1, 2, 3, won't you come out and play with me? And I have cookies for you." Once again, Eric heard a stomping sound. Then there were loud crunching noises as the monster snacked on the cookies. "Yum, yum, chocolate chip, my favorite," said the monster. Eric hopped out of bed. "Mr. Monster, you're back. Will you play with me?" asked Eric eagerly before remembering his manners. "Please? Since these were good cookies, sure. What do you want to play?" The monster waited for Eric's reply. "How about hide and seek?" Eric said. "Okay," said the monster, covering his eyes. 1, 2, 3. "Wait, I'm not ready," Eric giggled. I want to pause and I want to show you. Do you hear how Miss Sorrentino is changing her voices for the different characters? That's what you should do when you read. Eric hid under his bed. The monsters found him. Then the monster hid in the laundry basket. Eric found him too. They played for a while before the monster said, "It's time for bed. Good night, little boy, and thank you for the cookies." "Thank you for playing with me," said Eric with a yawn. The monster tucked Eric into bed and left. Do you think Eric and the monster had fun again? I do too. The monster's visits continued, and Eric became very quick at washing up and brushing his teeth and putting on his pajamas. He became so quick that his mom had to send him back to the bathroom because he still had soap bubbles in his hair. So Eric is rushing through everything because he wants to play with the monster. One night, Eric went to the kitchen and asked for some more cookies to give to the monster. "I'm sorry, Eric. We don't have any more cookies. I'll make more tomorrow," his mom said. "What? But I want to play with the monster," Eric exclaimed. "Well, here are some apples. You can give these to the monster," his mom told him. "Besides, apples are healthier, and I happen to know that monsters love them." "Okay," said Eric. Do you think the monster's gonna like the apples? Eric went to bed, snuggled under the blankets. Monster, 1, 2, 3, won't you come out and play with me?" Eric shouted before adding, "I don't have any cookies, but I do have some nice apples." Eric waited. Then there was a familiar stomping noise and munching of apples. Eric pulled the covers and grinned at the monster. "Yay, Mr. Monster, let's play!" The monster swallowed a bite of apple. "And what shall we play tonight?" he asked. "Helicopter," Eric cried, stretching his arms straight up. "Let's play helicopter, please!" The monster picked Eric up by his arms and they began to turn on the spot. They spun round and round and Eric let out a squeal. His feet were lifted off the ground. "Whee!" said Eric. They did this several times before the monster's arms got tired and he plopped Eric down on the bed. Do you see the we? That's a sound word. Remember when we learned some sound words and we learned that fancy word, automatopoeia? Phew! Good night, little boy, and thank you for the apples, said the monster. Good night, and thank you for playing, Dad. I mean, Mr. Monster. Eric hurried to correct himself. He looked shamefully at the monster for having accidentally broken the game. So the whole time, boys and girls, it wasn't a real monster. It was Eric's dad. But Eric's dad just smiled, kissed his son on the top of his head and said, "Sleep tight, son, and don't worry. I'm sure Mr. Monster will be back tomorrow, especially since Mommy is making a big batch of chocolate chip cookies." So was there a monster the whole time? No, you got it right. It was Eric's dad. And Eric's dad played with him every night so he would get tired to go to bed. The end. I want you to think what a fun game you would pick before you go to bed at night to play with your parents. All right, boys and girls, I hope you liked this bedtime story. Bye.